What's up?
Do you want more water? Is the path good?
No, I've just filled it up.
Okay. You didn't need to fill it up with tap. I had better stuff for you, but
Nothing better than New York Tap.
that's what I hear. I don't get it. I was raised in a house that was anti-tap. We had like 9 different types of water bottles in my place.
I feel like that's because your mom is like anti-fluoride.
No, I think she liked fluoride.
Out.
No, I think she liked fluoride.
Really?
That's why she bagged on British people for not having fluoride in their water. That's why their
Really?
teeth suck. Yeah.
RFK is going to take fluoride out of all the water.
That's what I hear. Really
And
freaking,
thank God.
Really freaking cool. That's what RFK stands for.
Really freaking cool.
Cool.
Junior.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not as
They
cool
killed
as
really
Sydney.
freaking cool.
Yeah,
Welcome back to...
really freaking killed.
Yeah. Welcome back to another installment of Call Him Father, the Godcast, where Grant Moore and
Josh Creedon
talk about the Bible from one agnostic-y guy and then one pretty Christian guy talk about the Bible. And
Yes.
also we do comedy, so maybe it's funny sometimes, but
Maybe we should
Kinda-
almost not even mention that.
yeah, with how
It's probably
unfunny
not
it's
even good. The last episodes are like so boring. Like, these guys do comedy?
no fucking
Oh,
way.
no. Yeah,
Well,
it might be
we
wise.
just don't have a lot of energy left because we're writing so much comedy. Too.
Yeah, it was so much
really
new.
get the in-depth-
I've written so much new over the last 3 weeks. It's
It's crazy.
wow.
I've written one racist joke
so much
in 3 weeks.
new. Yeah,
Anyway, so first of all, we rate how religious we're feeling and how spiritual we're feeling.
yes.
It's a 10-point scale for each. Why don't I get us started? You got us started last time.
Okay, yeah, you jump right in.
Okay, in terms of religious, I'm feeling 2 because I didn't go to church this week.
Okay.
I didn't read anything
Okay.
new this week,
Nothing at all?
and I've been really busy, and so I just started like one more chapter. And
no, but I thought you were doing like separate reading outside of just reading what we're reading. But maybe I got that wrong.
I mean, I haven't. You gave me that great divorce book, and I got like 5 pages in and then fell asleep.
Listen,
Only
thankfully
'cause
C.S. Lewis is dead. but
Only
that's-
because I have tired's.
Sure,
Not because
sure.
the book is interesting, but the 5 pages that I read,
Yeah.
and I get what's going on, but I've been really shut out lately.
That's okay.
And I was only at like a 3 before, so
Yeah, I guess it's not a huge differential.
it's
I mean,
not a
actually,
huge-
it's 50% loss, or it's almost 30% loss.
yeah, if you I'm doing
That's okay.
math like a fucking guy with glasses, but
Yeah, well,
and then spiritually, I don't know, man. It seems like it's really easy to believe in a higher power when you're like rocking it, but when things are like, it's like you want to believe in it when it's like things are dog shit, right? Because
Right.
you need to have something more.
sure.
And then when things are going well, you're like, yeah, someone's on my side. But when things are just medium, you're like, yeah, there's no God.
Yeah, well, things aren't going good or bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a God that gave me everything great, and there's got to be a God to save me. But
Sure.
when everything's going chill,
Yeah.
that's funny. There's people like to try and make Christianity like, oh, it's this Western white man civilization, all this stuff, and it's like, okay, well, this
podcast does not help disprove that.
Yeah, that's true. If it's just within this podcast, absolutely. But the stats are like, actually, women of color are the higher constituents within Christianity, and also most like in terms
Did you
of,
get those statistics from pleaseconvert.com?
buy that domain. Someone buy that
For the
domain.
podcast.
Someone buy that domain.
Please God convert.com.
Please. A few people like it's
It's
that too.
it's all caps.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to be
No, wait. We didn't buy both all caps and not.
Damn it.
And then in terms of atheists, the highest demographic of atheists is white men, because it's like,
Is that per capita though? Because that's just the most dudes in the West.
oh no, yeah, per
Or is this in the
capita.
world? Or
No. For the world of atheists, the majority of atheists are white men, and that's not like statistically speaking.
yeah, because we're the smartest.
No, because their lives are the chillest.
Sure,
Their lives are so
they're the mediumist.
that they're just like, yeah, there probably isn't a God,
oh, that's
and
funny.
they're just like
I wonder how
people
many
who need help.
billionaires are Christians though.
My dad, he was in town recently.
He's a billionaire.
Freaking, that'd be sweet. I'd be like, Dad, if you're a billionaire,
You are really.
why are you working?
You are wasting
This is
your
so
privilege.
Weird. he was talking to me about this video he watched about a billionaire who like converted to Christianity and stuff. It's on this forget the guy's name, but it's on YouTube under the channel I Am Second, which is a YouTube channel devoted to Jews converting to Christianity.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I mean they're still Jews obviously, but they're just Messianic Jews now. So which by the way, I keep talking to Jews in New York about Messianic Jews, and they're all like, "What? What are you talking about?" And it's like, have you never? This is crazy. It's crazy how little understood that is.
Yeah, because because they're in a bubble here.
No, but I'm talking to like Zach Vandergrift and like Isaac Gartenberg. They're like, well, if you're a Christian, you can't be a Jew, and it's like, what? What are you talking about?
Is that just because you can be both because it's like a cult? You
It's
can be
an
culturally
ethnicity.
Jewish.
Yeah, it's like if
Sure.
you're Sudanese and a Christian, you're not Sudanese anymore.
Sure.
Like what are you talking about?
Right.
So, but it's weird how they conflate those two things. Like you could be an atheist Jew but not a Christian Jew.
Sure.
How does that make sense?
And like those guys don't believe in like the Jewish God either. So
Right,
it's
exactly,
like-
dude. Yeah, don't even get me.
No, I don't
started.
know that because I don't know that.
I'm too loaded with anger these days.
Well, maybe if you listen to the devil every once in a while and jerk your penis off, you might.
Yeah, I'm trying not. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's crazy.
I'm off right now, which is going pretty good. You ever start
once a week, no porn. That's anyway. So I'm a
once
5.
a week, no porn. A 5 on spirituality.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm middle of the road.
Okay,
So I'm a 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah,
All right.
it's going down. It's
Okay.
trending down. So it's
Uh-oh.
time to step up the evangelizing.
Yeah, I am not doing my job. I'll go religion first. Religion, I'll say I'm like a 7, still 7, 8. Still pretty strong on that.
Sure. Yeah.
Although I'll say the not type of religion, but understanding of the Holy Spirit is growing. So it's like I grew up in a tradition that was very not involved with the Spirit. Like
Yeah.
not like, oh, the Holy Spirit speaks to us and power of the Spirit and stuff like that. Didn't really focus on that very much. And in terms of, and we were talking about this off air too, about like praying for miracles and things like that. Very much prayed for things that were kind of realistic and would probably happen. Right?
Yeah.
So if you pray for a miracle, everyone was like, well, you're praying for a miracle, so it's probably not going to happen. Which is like, it's weird because first off, you're praying for a miracle. There's already a miracle. But then in the tradition I came up with, it would be a miracle for the miracle to even happen. Does that make sense? It's like a twofold miracle.
No, of course it would be a miracle for the miracle to happen.
Right, but there are miracles of like, oh, there was a miraculous healing, right?
Yeah.
But is that crazy that the miraculous healing happened? Not necessarily, right? Because if miracles are commonplace, it's not a miracle for a miracle to occur. Does that make sense?
It kind of just seems like extra words. I get what you're saying. Like,
If there's
God's always performing miracles.
Right.
So therefore, it shouldn't be a surprise that a miracle would happen.
Exactly.
But from your, this has been off the entire time. Fuck me.
Oh, perfect. Let's restart.
Fuck. Well, that was good.
Was it good?
There was some good stuff in there.
Yeah, we could. I mean, how do you?
I can just use that and then loop this in once we.
So you want to rethink your answers on the spirituality part? Maybe bump it up a little bit.
That was the devil that made me hit the off. No, I just don't want to edit anything else. And I don't want to restart. So
Sure, that's fine. We can keep going.
should we?
Yeah. What? Yeah, it's 8 minutes. It's not terrible.
All
Also, I've noticed this when I listen to Tuesdays with Stories. Sometimes their sound is messed up, and I'm like, "Darn it!" And then like 30 seconds in, I'm like, it's fine.
All right. Well, then I'm going to restart everything.
No, I'm saying you don't need to do it. I'm saying at 30 seconds in, I completely forget about the audio difference, and it's fine.
It's really crazy how I so often stop listening to you right when you're getting to your point.
Right? Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm
Maybe
like,
that's why this isn't working.
I like get annoyed, and I'm like, oh, it was bad. But then 30 seconds in, I'm like, it doesn't matter.
It's just, dude, my attention span is so fucking bad.
Yeah,
Which is kind of why I like, because this book is also written it's written by Flat Stanley, where it's just like 2-page chapters. It helps,
right.
You know,
Sure. Well, it's funny to think of chapters that way because like I've never even conflated those two. That's an interesting thing to think
You call
about
the
that.
chapters the names.
No, I call chapters, but it is interesting. I've just never thought of it that way. Like,
You've never
chapter like this is in like a novel chapter.
Yeah.
Like I've never even compared the two.
Really?
in my head.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
but that's again, that's just
something
because
to think about.
that's kind of you do feel more accomplished each chapter.
It just helps my dumb brain break things down into like, okay, that was 16.
Right.
16 is about this.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay. So
wait. Oh, my
your
religion
is
7,
7.
8. Learning to be more in spirit. My
Always a 7, 8.
My spirituality is probably like a 6, 7. A lot more anger this week with the Lord and like expression of that, and so I feel like I'm closer to
But
God.
It's always a 6.
But I'm also angry. I just feel closer to God, even though I'm more
Because you're more emotional, maybe.
Yeah. I'm letting my emotions kind of seep through and being honest about what those are, and even though that's making things kind of more difficult because I'm getting more upset, I'm getting closer to God because I'm being more honest about how I am as a person.
Sure.
You know.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's was a good growing week for me, I think. So close, probably higher spiritual. I think I started a 4.
Oh, did you?
I think so.
Okay.
But
I thought it was like I thought it's 5, 6 pretty consistently, but you know,
nah, generally lower. But yeah.
Well, drop a comment in the section of the comments.
It doesn't have to be
you're
about
tracking,
that. It can be about anything.
or literally anything. It helps.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and where are we at now? We covered Abram blessed by Melchizedek, who is a theophany, which means he's potentially a representation of Jesus in the Old Testament.
That's right.
Which
for
is
you to know theophany as where you're at in the Christian world, huge big dick word. That's a big dick Christian word.
Yeah, when you think big dick, you think of a guy using the word theophany.
Low-key. Sounds fat.
It does sound,
theophany.
It's a wide word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a veiny,
chode of a
it's
word.
a veiny word. So Abram, he gets his nephew Lot back.
Yep.
And then he is blessed by Melchizedek of the most, who is of the Most High, God the Most High, and now we have Abram and God's covenant with him. Chapter 15. Give us a rundown of what happens in this chapter, Josh.
Right. So God's covenant with Abraham. Basically, this is where he promises Abram. Foreshadowing.
Whoa.
Promises
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. His name will change to what everyone thinks it is. It's basically, God is like committing formally to Abram that he will bless his descendants, and through his descendants will come the Savior of not just
I feel like
his
he's
people,
made
but the
this
world.
promise like a couple times now.
Yeah, he tends to reiterate himself
He really
because
keeps,
folks keep forgetting. You know?
I feel like he keeps reiterating himself to the one person who doesn't forget, and it's just like, all right, well, when is that going to happen? But now we get a date, 400 years of slavery, and then you can bomb Gaza.
Right. To be fair, you were slaves for 400 years, so it's kind of,
yeah.
You get it. Yeah, so, wait, is this talking about the, okay. This is, so the way the covenant was made, which is very interesting, is God tells Abram, hey, get some animals, right?
3 years old.
Sorry?
They're all 3-year-olds.
Oh, yeah. Get some animals, cut them in half, except for the birds. Doesn't cut the birds in half.
That'd be crazy.
The idea, they're too small. They would
Yeah.
just kind of fall apart. It'd be like cutting a gummy in half. It's like too.
God's explaining like, hey, I want you to get a cow and cut it in half. And the guy's like, yeah, of course. And then he's
Right.
like, and what about the birds? And he's like, no, don't be ridiculous.
That's crazy. It's too small.
It's like, okay, Cloud Man, you're
It's
right.
like-
I mean, it's the tough sell this
Cloud
chapter.
Man.
Okay, Sky Jew.
Okay,
Sorry.
Sky Jew. No,
That's a Kurt Metzger.
God
classic.
isn't Jew. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring me a heifer 3 years, a female goat 3 years, a ram 3 years, a turtle dove, 2 turtle doves, and a young pigeon. It's just, and a young pigeon.
Yeah, I can edit that out.
Right. That's always great. Sorry, I was getting it's November. When we're recording this, I mean it's later than that. Anyways, so this is like an interesting idea of what the covenant looks like. So back in the day, well, I'll just read it first and then explain.
Covenant is a promise.
Covenant's a promise. So God is making a promise to Abram, and when people went into a covenant, they went into a promise together. It's just like a deal, right? It's like I make a deal to you, you make a deal to me. So we're shaking hands.
Tui.
It's a Tui.
No.
Really doing that. Well, okay.
I know you something.
That's true. And so this is like making a deal for them. And the covenant is, know for certain that your offspring will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs and will be servants there. They'll be afflicted for 400 years, slavery.
Yep.
Slavery in Egypt. But I will bring judgment on the nation that they serve, and afterwards they shall come out great possessions as for yourself, which is, anyway, sorry. You shall go back to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried there, da-da-da. So then what he does is he cuts these things in half and he lay them on either side of each other. And the way that the
It's
covenant,
such a strange bargain.
it's odd, but this is okay.
Hey,
I was just listening to this today.
You're gonna get this great thing. Well, you're not gonna get it. Your family members in 400 years are gonna get it. By the way, they're gonna have to build the pyramids and get whipped a bunch, but then you'll get it.
Well,
This
they didn't
thing
know
I
about the pyramids.
promised you. Well, they didn't know about, but that's what isn't that like it's like one of the most immediate open mic Jewish person jokes is, we built the pyramids? No way. We'd be complaining the entire time.
Exactly. Look at our frail bodies. How could we possibly?
Well, yeah, sometimes they sound like that. Sometimes they don't.
Well, all right, sorry. So, but the idea being, they cut them in half, and the covenant's made. Normally, both people walk through the halves.
lane of bodies.
Right, because the point being, if I don't keep up my promise, let me be like these animals. It's like a symbol of that.
Yeah.
That's why they cut them in half. It's like, if I don't do this, cut me in half. Like, kill me.
Sure.
This is like a pinky promise to the, it's like the death promise or whatever. In Harry Potter,
Sure.
when Snape does the death oath or something like that.
Yeah,
I forget what it's
to
called.
protect Draco.
Draco, yeah, exactly. It's like that. It's like, if I don't keep my word.
We're mixing up our fiction books, Josh.
Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Harry Potter is the real one.
Sure, right.
Dude, I unfortunately I read Harry Potter before I turned 11. So
what is
I
that
was,
unfortunate about?
because it gave me hope.
That
It was real.
it was real?
When I was
That's
9
the beauty of
to
it
10,
when
I
you read
was
it as
like,
a kid.
and then I was
Yeah.
like, but I turn 11 in December, which means I need to get my letter when I'm 10. So how would I? Yeah. And then-
I pretended to be blind for a couple weeks after watching the movie Daredevil.
That's awesome, dude.
That's
I think
stupid.
Daredevil was my sexual awakening,
Dude,
because I think Halle Berry was in it.
No, it's not Halle Berry. It's the lady who ended up being his wife. She was an Alias. Jennifer Gardner, one of the most beautiful ladies on earth.
So stunning. Yeah, I remember watching that, and there was like you know what? 007 with Halle Berry was my sexual awakening.
Oh yeah.
And I remember
Mine
watching
was
that.
Monsters Ball.
I don't know what that is.
It's where she bangs Billy Bob Thornton. He's like 50 years old.
Dude, he's so gross.
They fuck on her like dirty single mom floor.
Oh, dude.
It's really hot.
That's so bad. I remember watching a makeout scene. It was either in Daredevil or 007, and I was watching, and I was maybe like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah.
And then my older cousin started fast forwarding through those scenes.
Yeah.
And because I was young and I didn't understand why, I was like, "Why are you fast forwarding through this?" I was
Yeah.
like, "What are you do?" I was like,
'Cause
"What are you
he knew
doing?"
what it would do
And he's
to
like,
you.
"It's not good stuff." And all I knew is I was rock hard as a 6-year-old.
Dude, Halle
Just
Berry
trying
was
to-
like the Obama for like white boners.
100%,
Like
yeah.
she opened the door so that white kids could be like, yeah, black women are beautiful queens.
100%. I mean, I think being exposed to that at such a young age made me less racist.
I legitimately think
More of a
I would agree.
fetishist, really. But that's,
Well,
which
baby
also
steps.
they turn into being racist again. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
How is that racist?
Yeah, well, it's a Ouroboros. Did you see her in John
Aurora
Wick?
Borealis.
Ouroboros is the snake that eats its own tail.
You've been bringing that up a lot recently.
I love that word because I don't even think I've got it right.
Oh.
I think it's Ouroboros or something like that.
Or Borealis. Wait, what's the John Wick thing you're talking about?
Her
No.
in the new John Wick, or in
Oh.
the
Isn't
middle
she-
John Wick is
She's
she's
like 87
she's like
now?
30, 100. She's like Methuselah, and
Oh.
she's the hottest woman on earth.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen. Anyways, what were we talking
Sorry,
about?
that was a really big
A
diversion.
little bit of a tangent. All this to say, walking through the animals is to say, I'm making this promise, and if I don't keep up my end of the bargain, you can cut me in half.
Yeah,
And so what happens here is normally each person does it, right? Like if I spit on my hand to shake your hand, you spit on your hand, it's equal, it's even.
Sure.
Right? In the scripture here, it says, when the sun had gone down and it was dark, behold, a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch passed between the pieces. Because...
that's supposed to be God, the smoking fire pot. And
yes,
the
those are
torch.
symbolic of God, as flame often is. And Abram had fallen. I forgot to read
He's
this part
a
before,
bit of
but
a flamer.
Abram was asleep. Abram fell
okay.
asleep. So he didn't partake in the covenant. It was basically God saying, I promise this, and if it doesn't happen, not you be cut in half, me, I'll be cut in half. Like God has taken the entire burden of the covenant upon himself.
Okay.
Right? It's not like I'll do my part, you do your part. God is saying, I will do all of it.
Sure.
And I'm the one putting up the risk of being cut in half. Here.
Who's going to cut God in half, though? It seems
God.
like both. Okay.
God, I mean, if he doesn't keep up that's how staunch his promise is he's like, I will do this. You are at no risk. This will be done, you know?
Okay.
And again, saying to Abram, to your offspring, I give this land, the river of Egypt, to the great river. Write this down, pro-Palestine. To the great river Euphrates, Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, the Hittites, a bunch of people that are no longer around.
My favorite is the Girgashites.
Yeah, the Gurglashites.
Yeah.
The Garglashites.
It sounds like a
Jebusites.
Scottish AI that makes you poop your pants. The
Right.
Girgashites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jarvis, make me shit my pants.
So the point being, that is Abram's promise, or that is God's promise to Abram, and Abram is off the hook in a sense because he's like, follow his word, but God is saying this, I am taking the risk here. And ultimately, he does take the fall for the sins of Abram through Jesus, like through the sins of all of us, all the sins of man through Jesus on the cross. But that's jumping about 4,000 pages ahead of where we are right now.
Okay. I guess it's like, well, so what is Abram's side of the bargain? What does he have to do? I guess he
Follow
already
the
does
Lord.
his stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's just got to keep doing that.
Yeah, keep following my word. And if you don't, and you see this through really all of the Old Testament, and especially with the minor prophets later in the New Testament, or all the prophets really, is you just see Israel in this sort of downward spiral where it's like they are good, they're good with God, and then they fall into sin. And then they get redeemed, and then they fall into sin. And then they get redeemed, and then they fall into sin. And they get redeemed, and they fall. It's just this continual kind of downward spiral motion.
Sure.
But God continues to forgive and forgive and forgive. And Israel really is, symbolic of all of us with our relationship with the Lord. Ideally, an upward spiral through sanctification where we grow to become more like Jesus throughout our lives. But like we always sin and fall short, and yet we're always forgiven. And then we sin and fall short, but we're always forgiven. And so we get closer and closer. We spiral up, whereas they as a nation, Israel, spiraled down.
Okay, right. But these are Hebrews, right? Like they're not Christians. So
No, they're not Christian.
where is their I guess maybe
Forgiveness.
we get to it, but where is their sanctification? Or
I mean, they still, I think, have the concept of sanctification. I think of like becoming holier and becoming closer to God, I think is still within their personal relationship with the Lord. So they still have that. But this idea of being justified and making sacrifices, like they haven't been given the law yet, right? So the law comes about in Exodus, and that's kind of, and Leviticus. And that's when they kind of set up this entire justification structure, right? For a forgiveness of sins.
Okay.
That's when that all happens. But right now, they're not out there making, like they'll sacrifice to the Lord like Noah did, right? After he got done, they'll sacrifice in thanks.
sure.
But there's no retributive sacrifice. There's no like penance sacrifice.
Okay.
Like again with Cain and Abel, they make sacrifices to the Lord out of praise and worship.
Right.
But there isn't this like, oh, I sinned, please forgive me,
Please
sacrifice.
wipe these sins away.
Right. That's kind of given
Clean
to
my
them.
ledger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the clean the ledger sacrifices, that's given, I could be wrong here, in like Exodus, Leviticus timeline, which is
That's Moses, when Moses comes around.
Right.
Spoilers. More spoilers.
Post Egypt slavery.
Oh,
Post pyramids.
Okay. Post aliens.
Yeah.
So is Noah a Jew?
Noah?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Noah was like, you could say the father of all people, right? If you believe that he was literally the only people left. So it's like,
right.
not really. Like, there weren't so many people to.
Yeah, I guess it's like
specify.
when in here do people, because you see the word Hebrew start coming up in these areas.
Right. Abram is like the father of the Israelites. Like
Sure.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are
Okay.
the three big. Abraham, then his son Isaac, then his son Jacob. Jacob's son Joseph and gets overtaken to Egypt, right? And then eventually Jacob and the rest of the family head over there, and then they just propagate and go crazy, and they just have a shat ton of kids.
Sure. Still
Over
going a little
400 years.
crazy, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, maybe.
And
And so that's when they became like the Hebrews, like when they were in Egypt, and then when they left, they were like a massive people group.
Okay. And this is maybe a stupid question, but where does like the Talmud start?
Talmud is
Yeah.
is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus.
So that's Talmud and OT are same thing.
I might
it's
be.
with
I'm
Moses?
thinking of Torah. Torah is first 5.
Okay.
Torah's first 5.
And Talmud is
I'm forgetting. Talmud might be all of the old scriptures, which is Old Testament, but I could be wrong on that.
So when rabbis are reading all this stuff, they're reading what we're reading now.
yes, this
they're
is all the
debating-
Jewish scriptures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the Talmud? Is after the Hebrew Bible, the central text of rabbinic Judaism and the primary source of truth. After the Hebrew Bible, so this would be the Hebrew
we're
Bible
reading right now is the Hebrew Bible.
Yes, I mean I don't know how
Maybe the interpretation is different, but the basic structure
Sure.
and story is
From my understanding, I don't know if they're like Islamic about it in the sense that like the Quran can only be in Arabic. If it's in English, it is not the Quran. So I don't know if they're like
wow.
yeah. So I don't know if the Hebrew Bible is like it can only be in Hebrew. It can't be translated or whatever. So that might be different from different sects of Judaism.
Damn. You see where a lot of the advantage goes to Christianity. You know,
Yeah.
like everybody can read this in all the languages.
Yep.
But it's also for you can read the Torah.
Sure, you
in
can read the
English.
Torah. Yeah, Torah's first 5. Hebrew text is like the Jewish scriptures is from Genesis all the way down to Micah or Malachi. Sorry,
Malachi. That's such a badass name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the covenant. He is
Makes
promised
the covenant
promised Israel to his
to Abram.
to Abram and his offspring in 400 years after they have to pay a little bit of a debt, it sounds like.
Well, they're not paying a debt, but that just will happen.
Yeah, but why?
Why do they have to? Well, it's a kind of interesting thing.
It's like,
'cause-
hey, I've been promising you this thing. But yeah, I just don't get God's logic a lot of the time. It's like, I've been promising you this thing. I'm going to keep promising it. Hey, third reminder on here, third promise, a little bit more specific. By the way, you got to keep liking me, and also I'm going to enslave 4 generations of your family.
well, it's actually not enslaved 4 generations because Joseph, who was over there,
I
we're
guess it's
jumping
like
ahead.
one guy.
Well, Joseph was there, was a slave of Potiphar, right? Did super good, ended up managing all of the slaves in Potiphar's house, right? Got super good at it.
Wow. Regional manager
Then
of slaves.
Potiphar's wife tried to sleep with him. He said no. She framed him, threw him in jail. He was super good in jail, like became the manager of the jail basically of the prisoners.
Give this guy a fucking Fort Worth McDonald's and see where he can take it.
They'll get even more than that. So he interprets a few people's dreams. He interprets this guy's dream who ends up working for the Pharaoh. Once he gets out of jail.
We'll get to all this.
Yeah, well, I guess so. But the point being, Joseph was a very high power in Egypt. So when his people, Jacob, come over, they're set up in Egypt. They're like chilling for years.
Sure.
And then
so it's
I think
not like just flat out.
Eventually,
field
a few
slavery.
generations later, there's a Pharaoh that just didn't know Joseph and didn't have that tight connection. And he was like, there's a lot of these like Hebrew people around here. We should enslave them. So eventually it became that way.
Oh, okay.
So
So it
it's
wasn't like 400 straight years.
No. And it was, well, it could be 400 years after that. I forget. But it wasn't like they
Okay.
got there and were enslaved immediately. It wasn't like,
Yeah, but still, the question is still like, hey, I'm going to promise you all this land. You've been so good about following me, but there's going to be a little intermission of being slaves.
I mean, he could also be saying this not in the sense that God's like, and I'm glad that you're slaves, but in the fact that humans have free will and God is
Right.
omniscient. So he knows someone is going to do an evil thing and enslave you. I just know that.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, this is all part of the plan. So when this
Sure.
happens to you, don't freak out.
Yes.
This is what happens, you know?
Foreknowledge.
Foreknowledge.
Yes.
Omniscience.
We'll get into that later, but I just read some stuff about foreknowledge versus free will.
Oh, really?
It's,
Who by whom?
Boethius.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was making Chat GPT talk to me like it was Boethius.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It's the only way I can really understand things is if I do that for a couple hours.
For ChatGPT?
Yeah, it has to be Boethius, but Boethius as if he's talking to a 4th grader. And that's how I
Booth is like 4th grade. What is that?
and that's how I figured. Yeah, and then it's just me explaining the hierarchical
Yeah. So 4th
the
grade,
pedagogy of America.
so like a 4-year-old, he's like, well, no, they're like 10, 11. It kind of depends on when their birthday is.
Damn. This is a tangential episode. Okay, Sarai and Hagar.
Sarai still, yes.
Yes, continuing the dumb name theme of
Dumb
the,
name
of
off.
the OT.
Yeah, Sarai and
OT,
Hagar.
OT.
So basically, Sarai, Abram's wife, can't have a kid. She's upset.
Yeah.
And so then she has her female
She's
servant.
really old, right? She's like 29.
She's pretty old. No, she. Did I tell you about that joke, that Joe List joke that he keeps quoting from somebody else, where he's quoting a guy. He's like, this is turning into a street joke now because it's so far removed. But it's like, he's like, you ever have sex with like a super fat girl? And I'm not just a little bit. I'm talking like super fat, like 129, 130.
It's so funny because I know that joke and it still gets me.
It's still funny. It's like you know where it's going from the jump, and it's just still so funny. I'm talking like a real cow, like 129. It's so funny.
We're such idiots.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, let's go back to the
okay,
Bible.
Sarah and Hagar. Yes,
yeah.
please. Okay,
So-
yeah, you got to remind me of this one. This one's not very memorable.
Yeah. So basically, Sarai, well, to Muslims, this is very memorable.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
So Sarai can't have a kid. So she has her servant, her Egyptian servant, I think it's Egyptian servant, Hagar, and goes, Abram, just do it to this woman.
Yeah.
Come on. We got to have something going on here.
Oh,
and then
so does this justify?
And Abram goes, well, okay.
Yeah, I guess if I have
Oh, no, I have to sex with someone that's on my wall. No.
Yeah,
So then he
no.
does. Then she gets pregnant, and Sarai's like, and Sarah like gets upset
sure.
that exactly what she wanted to happen happened.
This is the word of God.
Oh my God, praise be to God. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So that's kind of
It's just like from the jump, women are just getting shat on.
yeah,
in this
by
book.
other women, by the way. Abram was just doing what his wife told him.
Yeah, but not Eve.
What? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was the snake. So then basically Hagar gets pregnant. Sarai gets pissed, says, "Get the hell out of my camp."
Yeah.
And so then Hagar goes wandering around, and then an angel of the Lord appears to her and blesses her and says, "Your child shall be named Ishmael, and he will be a father of many nations." And Ishmael fathers the Arab people and is considered sort of the father of Islam to a degree, because Islam and Christianity and Christianity, Judaism, all Abrahamic religions, right?
Yeah.
Christianity and Judaism fall from Isaac, because it goes Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Islam, Abraham, Ishmael.
Oh.
So this is kind of where they split off,
and so
which is
from
Hagar's
Hagar.
kids. Yes.
Oh, that's super interesting.
He shall be a wild donkey of a man, his
Whoa.
hand against everyone and everyone's hand against him, and he shall dwell over all of his kinsmen. Let's talk about Ishmael. Call me Ishmael.
Yeah. Well, that's Moby Dick.
Was that not in here?
No, that's a different big book full of fucking
Nonsense.
bunch of stories that don't make sense.
I was wondering why there's a diagram of a whale.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Jonah and the whale. Fish.
That's okay. I did not know that when I was reading this.
And by the way,
Was that in the notes?
this could all be wrong.
Oh yeah.
We
should start every episode.
Yeah,
with
we
that.
probably should.
Even though we're reading
Massive
from the thing.
asterisk. No, that's just something I've heard through years of
Interesting.
being in this world.
Okay, cool. And so this, I guess, what are we supposed to draw from this and the Lord and His workings?
Well, one, I think something we can learn from here is, so God called Abram and Sarah and said, Sarai, and Abram and Sarai, the promise is going to come through your people, right?
Right.
They didn't trust him. They were like, we probably got to do something about this.
Oh, right, because in the chapter before, he's like, God, I just don't have an heir.
Right.
You have to give me an heir.
You have to give me an heir. And then
he's
God,
like, you will. And then he's like, no, we're old. Or is that
Yeah.
the next one?
I think that's the next one.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
right.
it happens a few
but
times.
it's all kind of in this, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the same sphere. But Sarai is like, all right, I got to take this into my own hands. Have your way with my servant, right?
Servant.
So they're servant,
Yeah.
and so they are
Unpaid intern.
right. I had to wear an outfit.
She's like a CBS page.
Yeah, getting coffee. Just had a PA thing on her. The headset on. Where you want me to? You're having sex with me right now? Is that what we're
It's
doing?
Kenneth from 30 Rock in a wig. Okay, Mr. Abram.
Mr. Abram.
Fuck me now, please. Okay.
So
and
the point of that being, they made a mistake. They
Sure.
acted out of their own control and their own knowledge, and God still blessed Hagar, who was by the like not of the people group that he had blessed Abram and Sarai, but he blessed Hagar with a child who would bear nations as well. So
Right.
God is not just this like small pipeline of just the people he blesses. Like he's blessing a lot of people that are attached to this that are not within his quote unquote chosen people.
Sure.
And Hagar is one of those first people who has a blessing of a son who is a heir of nation, who like, you know, is a father of nations.
Okay.
Through this sin and mistake, quote unquote, this, you know, beautiful
It's
thing.
trying to work
God-
around God.
Yeah, God can still redeem that man-made effort.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So just a little bit of redemption there.
Unless you're a cow. He cuts you in half.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
not great if you're
God
that.
fucking hates
that-
animals.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you were that cow that God walked in between? You got to be like, what an honor, really.
I think I'd be like, fuck, I'm in half.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess maybe. I wonder if animals have souls. I think about that.
I don't know. All I know is we're supposed to dominate over all of them.
Yes, we dominate the planet.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So now we are at 17.
Yes.
And this is, let me read the title on this one and see if I can. I didn't get a lot out of these, which, so it's good that you're here. What's really,
Yeah.
oh, Abram and the covenant of circumcision. Okay, this one, man, this is a big diversion for me
Yeah. So you'll be.
as a member of the Unsnipped.
Yeah. Well, you'll
This
be, again.
shit is silly.
Yeah. Well, you'll be more of a fan of the New Testament on this topic.
Okay.
Where they say, "Nah, don't worry, you don't have to be circed."
Yeah.
But
We have hand soap now.
right, yeah, but back
Yeah.
then he was like, cut it off, be different, distinguish yourself, and
Yeah.
that was how the Jews were distinguished.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have like a faux circumcised penis.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not.
That really is the one thing. Like nobody's faking that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a cleanliness thing, really.
I don't know if it was primarily. I mean, they say primarily it was to distinguish yourself from other people, and to say you're a group set apart by God.
So this is like the supreme fanny
That-
pack of,
Fanny pack?
you know, the supreme stuff, like
Oh, I see what you're
hype
saying.
beast
Sure.
stuff.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
this is how you set yourself apart to
Exactly.
show that you're. Well, it's almost like it's like a swastika. It just shows what party you're in.
Yeah, it does. It was like, hey, I'm Jew, you
Yeah.
know. And I do think that
Yeah.
there were some benefits, though, right, in terms of cleanliness,
Yeah, sure.
because there was this, you know, back then they were not super clean folks, and that does generally lessen disease. And there are a lot. Maybe I talked about this last time as well, but like the laws that were given the Jewish people kept the Black Plague from affecting them as much too. You
Yeah.
know, because they had these laws of cleanliness, and so they weren't as affected by that. So
Sure.
there are these weird byproducts.
Yeah, but
of
it's the same
law.
thing with like Islam and like not eating swine. Like you avoid a lot of diseases from not
Sure.
eating
Yeah,
dirty animals.
a lot of benefit for that. Behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be the father of a multitude of nations. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham.
Abraham,
So I have made you
finally.
the father of a multitude of nations. This idea of him being renamed, God giving, and this goes kind of ties into the Jamie Winship stuff that we've talked
Sure.
about, is being renamed. God is saying, you are not who you were. You are not the name that your people gave you. You're the name that I give you because you are mine. And so now Abraham has like a new identity and
Yeah.
a new name in God.
And a much, I think, cooler name.
To be fair, that's I mean, we just grew up with that. I don't know. I wonder if he likes
I think
it.
Abraham
I wonder if
has
Abram
more
was- It does. I mean, I think so. But I wonder.
stink
If,
to it.
I wonder if he was like.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
also
would
he's
suck.
so old at this point.
Sure.
It's got to be. You know, like all these people who
He's
are
got to do
being
that thing
like,
where everybody else is being. He hears the name Abram and he's like, "What me? Oh wait, no, that's not
no,
my
it's
name
a different,
anymore."
a different guy. Also, you imagine. I mean, all these people like who are coming out as non-binary or trans or whatever. Like they're doing that at, like a younger age.
Sure.
You know, like they're changing their names
Right.
when they're like middle school, high school, college, whatever. It could
they
happen
have
later.
more time to adjust.
Imagine
to their new
transitioning at like 89.
name. Right.
I mean, what a nightmare.
Sure.
You got to just trade a whole new name. It's like your whole life is this way.
wow.
I bet a bunch of people were still calling him Abram, and he's like, it's Abraham. And they're
Yeah.
like, ugh.
He's like, "Don't assume my name."
Yeah, don't assume you
You
said it
went
was
by
your
that
name.
for a really. Don't dead name me. Yeah.
Don't, Abram's my dead name. And
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
okay.
Dead
Sorry.
sea name.
Also,
How
by
about
the
that?
way, I'm circumcised. Like what? So in a way, there's a genital mutilation.
Don't call it
as well.
that. No. Well, either way, he's allowed to do it, and that's all.
Right,
that matters.
100%. He was told to do it.
God is
So,
okay with it.
Yeah,
so.
God's okay with circumcision.
Trans people should just be like, I'm just getting super circumcised.
Super circumcised.
Yeah,
100%.
And then all the Christians who are anti would be like, oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Right, that's true. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Damn, when you solve an entire social issue in one podcast.
Come on, you kidding me?
Boop.
Boop. Yeah, do they? Will that audio pick up?
No, because of the mushy top.
Damn it. And then also in the same chapter is when God promises a son, Isaac, to Sarah and Abram.
Oh wait,
Sarah
so
and
they
Abram.
didn't even know that they were gonna get a son
They
when
were
did
promised
the Hagar stuff.
They were promised multitudes, right? They didn't know how, and then they just kind of were like, "Well, this
All
seems,
girls.
yeah." Like,
Oh my
what?
god!
They were promised.
Thank God this didn't happen in China.
Right? How many of these kids we gotta kill?
This is nuts. They're damming up the river with all their female babies.
Like, gee, what is crazy?
Why is the Euphrates no longer flowing?
Yeah, exactly. Too many girls. Crazy. But I think so. Before they were promised
God,
to
I'm gonna
have
have
to
to
be the
take
father
that
of
out.
nations,
Yeah.
but they were like, okay, how?
Uh-huh.
And you kind of assume with your wife, but then they just didn't happen. So he's like, okay, I guess we're gonna try our own thing now. And now he's promised this.
Hey,
right?
you will have with your wife
Sarai.
Sarai
Yes.
a boy.
Also, Sarai's name changed to, thank goodness,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Wait,
a
that
freaking
happens in this
normal
one
name.
too?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's not its own fucking chapter.
As for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. I will bless her, and moreover, I will give you a son by her. How old are they at this point?
like 80 and like yeah, like again, she's like really old. She's like 30, 32.
Yeah. And I will establish my covenant with him, and everlasting covenant. My offspring will be out of him. Yeah, and he promises Ishmael too. He says, "As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful and multiply him greatly. He shall father 12 princes, and I will make him into a great nation. But I will establish my covenant with Isaac."
Okay.
So he does like kind of a short-term promise with Ishmael, who's like, he'll father 12 princes, pretty lit.
Yeah.
But my long-term covenant plan of salvation of the world is going to come through Isaac.
Interesting.
Whom Sarah shall bear to you at this time next year. So I believe they promised them Isaac before, but this is kind of the same thing where it's like getting a little more, as the time approaches, he's getting a little more specific as to what that might look like. Does he give his age? Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Ooh.
And Ishmael of his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised of the flesh. That's also too old to be
It's
circumcised.
too old, but it regenerates a lot faster than when you are 99.
Yeah, that very day, Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised. I imagine if you're 99 and how do you even know what to cut? I mean, there's so much saggy down there.
Honestly, it probably
You're just
doesn't
kinda
even.
cutting a lot.
It's probably just like circumcising him, just put him back to his normal
Probably
normal foreskin
He's like,
length.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
What is that, like your nose and ears? It just doesn't stop growing.
Yeah, dude, it's a serious thing. Like a lot of dudes,
Really?
when they get older, they have to get their foreskin. They get circumcised because their foreskin gets so droopy and floopy.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
They start getting it stuck under like weights and things.
Whoa.
They put like a dumbbell down and
stepping
they
on
turn
it.
around like a Looney Tune.
Woo!
Yeah.
Just springs back.
It looks like they're peeing a tie.
Right. And so anyways, and that very day, Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised, and all the men of his house. So also this says like
Tough sell.
everyone within your house will be circumcised. It also says circumcise the children going forward at day 8. Do it at day 8 of their life because it's easier, and do it then. And everyone that comes within your house. So even if you like conquer a nation, now everyone who is within your nation, within your house, whether they're your slave, your servant, your whatever, married in, whatever, they got to be circumcised to be a part of my people.
But only the boys.
Yes, they are very anti-female genital mutilation.
I mean, hey, he gives and he takes.
Good on him.
Good on him.
Good on him for letting those go.
That one does stink.
1,000%.
I think everybody agrees that one stinks.
Well, not everyone.
Well, okay,
The people
but
who
we don't
do
have to
it.
get into that.
Yes. Well, not the Ishmaelites. Anyways.
Okay, and you still have to do that if you want to convert to Judaism, right?
That's interesting. I don't know. I
think
never
you
thought
do.
about it. I'm already circed, so I'm ready to go.
Well, okay, take the general you.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Okay, well,
Could be.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Again,
I will not.
tough sell.
Tough sell.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough tough sell to be like, hey, but now it'd be easier than back then.
But I guess that's what I'm curious about is how it's done. Still, you know how like were these rituals
I don't think it had to be done.
I know it still does.
Still-
They probably now you don't have to do it with a sharp rock, but
Right.
like,
Well,
can you go under, or does it have to be this painful experience?
I'm sure it's painful even if you go under afterwards. But I mean, like day 8,
You can't get boners for like 6 months.
Really?
You cannot whack, and you're not supposed to get boners for like the first month.
Whoa.
Which, when this happens to older guys, it's not usually a big problem.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, with Judaism now, day 8 you use a moil, right? So they still have like this tradition.
I don't think moils are
think about
used that much anymore.
Probably, but
maybe in Hasidic, but
right.
Moil. That.
But the idea being, there's still some sort of circumstance around it within certain cultures. But like
Sure.
now, if you were going to convert, I don't know, maybe. If people are still following the law, like the Jewish law, like this, then yeah, I'd assume so.
How about
I don't
this?
know what that looks like.
If you are interested the way we are, you Google it, and maybe we'll talk about it next episode. Probably not.
Yeah, but if you're watching this, thanks so much.
Oh my God, thank you. Sorry, we're so
thanks
sorry
for being our person.
Okay, so new promise, birth, new names. I mean, this family's glowing up,
right?
And kings and shit. And so now we got to have dinner with God, right? We sit down for a little God time dinner.
So this is interesting. This is actually, I just got this book the other day. It's called The Divine Dance. And
what's it about?
It's about the Trinity and stuff like that. But this idea they talk about, and this paint, you probably can't see it from there, but there's a painting of 3 divine, like angels or whatever, kind of eating together. It's a picture of this that it's talked about, which is the 3 people, men, angels, or vision of the Trinity, kind of symbolic of the Trinity, eating with Abraham
and his wife Sarah.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's kind of what that is. These 3 men. So
and they laugh at them.
Yes, because the 3 men come and kind of reaffirm what they just heard, saying, so, well, first off, okay, and the Lord appeared to them outside the oaks of Mamre, I think that's how you say it, and as he, Abraham, sat at the door of his tent in the heat of the day, he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing in front of him. When he saw them, he ran to the tent door to meet them and bowed himself to the earth and said, O Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by your servant. Then he's basically saying, let me take care of you. Let me get you some water. Let me get you some food. Let me do all this stuff. And he really preps him a meal as fast as possible, which is also so funny because in this, he's like, quick, I got you a calf. Let's make him food. It's like, that's got to be like a 5-hour process.
To make a calf?
Yeah, to kill a calf.
Back then, 5 hours flies by like that.
That's I guess so.
Think about that because they have long attention spans. They're not on reels all day.
That's a very good point. They're just chilling. They're just like, here, we'll have it in a second. It's like 5 hours later.
Like being late was not invented yet.
Yeah, being late, they'd be like, yeah, we'll get there. It's like 2 months later.
Like, oh yeah, you guys showed up when you said you would this year.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. I always thought about that, like reading the Odyssey and stuff, like when Odysseus was like stuck on a island or something, and he's like, oh, we should get out of here, but they were on the island just chilling for like a month first.
Yeah.
And like, all right, probably time to go, or like a year or something. And I'm like, where is the urgency?
They don't have watches.
Do we not have like a let's go? Come on, we got to get home.
They don't have Google Calendar.
That'd be
and
nice.
honestly, they're probably better for it.
I'd imagine so.
It's interesting the whole like 3 dudes now, like because the Trinity isn't introduced until New T, right?
Sure, but I think there's a lot of foreshadowing.
It's
in the past.
weird. It's just weird.
What do you mean? I mean, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I guess, but yeah.
It's like this. I don't have the right words for it. So let's move on.
Okay. So then these 3 dudes are with him, and then Abraham prepared for them, talked to Sarah, and then they asked, where is Sarah, your wife? And he goes, she's in the tent. And then it's also what's interesting is they say the Lord said, not the angel said, not the dude said, because there's 3 of them, and then they say, and then the Lord said.
Sure.
So there does.
Yeah,
show
I guess that's
like,
when I say it's weird. It's like that's where like the translation of it, what does this say in like the Hebrew Bible versus like the ESV of like, does this 3-person thing and the Lord said, like, do all of these like phrases match? Because in this way it confirms the Trinity in a way where there's religions that don't believe in the Trinity,
right?
So that's another like just point of confusion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally fair, and just even like, Yeah, grammatically, it's weird for them to be like, oh, yeah, it's like if 3 dudes came in and then he said, like, talking about the 3 dudes. It just doesn't make sense, which is like, which is, I think, again, foreshadowing of this idea of the Trinity. It's like there are 3 in 1, like they are all Lord.
I know we've been doing this for like 50 minutes already, and I haven't told you, but it's going to be a ball-heavy episode.
For me?
For you.
I think my hand's kind of in here for the
Okay.
most part. And
All
also
right.
I've been doing down this.
Okay, just trying to warn you.
Yeah, that's fine.
50 minutes in.
Listen, as long as, just the fact that my ball, I don't have big balls, so I feel like
They're showing. They're poking out.
Come on, stop.
Come
on, don't be so flattering.
Let's get back to the Holy
bashful.
Trinity.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so these 3 men show
Your
up, just change
dick
everything.
and 2 balls.
So, wow, definitely not all equal. Let's just put it that way.
No.
Not
But all the same size.
Right. All just as spherical.
All the same shape. Ovular, tiny balls.
All just as important.
Yeah.
All just as equal.
Yeah.
Different roles. Exactly.
Just as contradictory.
Right. Well, okay. There's a little unity in there.
Okay, sorry.
So I think these 3 men are eating, and then they're like, hey, by this time next year, Sarah is gonna have a kid, and then they hear Sarah laugh.
She giggles.
Yeah, she goes.
She goes, no fucking way.
Like a geisha.
Yeah.
And then they're like, why did she laugh? Oh, there was this. So
Hey, what the fuck?
This is so funny. They're like, why are you laughing? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return to you about this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son. He doubles down. But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was scared. And then he said, no, but you did laugh.
Yeah.
Which is like the most human phrase. Like, no.
Yeah,
Literally
you
in the
did.
Bible, it says, no, but you did laugh.
That's so funny.
Which is like it's not like thou did laugh or something. It's like, no,
but you did laugh.
But you did laugh. I didn't laugh. Like, no, but you did laugh.
Yeah.
Which is like,
It's like
such
it's like a petty response.
right, exactly. Which is such a human way to respond to something. It's like, I didn't
Sure.
laugh. Like, no, but you did laugh.
Yeah, you did.
It is just so human.
That's
It's not
funny.
this like massive God, like you are lying to me. It's like
I
no.
caught you. It's like, yeah, you fucking did.
No, but you did though.
Yeah.
You did. And what I love about that is that God, even if laughing is disrespectful, right,
Sure.
to these people, which they recognize as like very important people, otherwise Abraham wouldn't have been like, hey, I'm going to make a meal for you, especially at this age. He's like 99.
Sure.
And he's super rich. He's got servants. He's got all this stuff, right? He's basically his own small nation, as it were. And then he, the patriarch of it all, runs to meet them, does all this stuff that a patriarch would not do in that time.
Sure.
And then sets a table for them, does all this stuff, and then someone laughs at them. It's like, oh, that's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
And they go, no, but you did laugh. The idea being God wants our honesty.
Sure.
God's like, no, but you did laugh at me though.
Yeah.
And he wants you to be like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. It's amazing how much more you read into all this stuff than I do.
Well, it's what he wants. He's like, I did not laugh.
Yeah, but I
I'm
just
not
read
gonna-
it as like, yeah, she did laugh.
Right, but
Versus
then-
you're like, look at this interpretation.
It's a big thing because
Yeah.
she's lying to them
No,
because
it's-
she's scared. And then God says,
It's good. It's why you're here.
2 different things. God says, while she's scared, which is why she's lying and saying I didn't laugh. No, you did laugh, which is rude. Also, you lied to me about laughing, which is another sin on top of that.
Sure.
3, that's fine.
Okay.
It's okay. Like he's not like it's fine. It's not a sin, but they let her go. They don't punish her. They don't like, you will actually not have a kid. They would like God wants you to be completely transparent with him because he wants relationship. He wants honesty, right?
Okay.
And so doubling down, like if you're like, no, I'm not mad at you, God, he'll be like, no, but you are mad. Like be real with me. It doesn't help you to be dishonest with me. I already know.
Say it to my fucking face.
Exactly. Like
Say it to my 3 faces.
he's all mad. He's all mad about it. He's like, you wouldn't.
You fucking
wouldn't say
did
it
laugh.
to me.
I heard you laugh.
You did laugh. I heard.
Sarai.
Yeah. Goes back to
She
her
dead
old
names
name.
me. Yeah.
Don't dead name me. I dead name you.
Yeah,
I
well,
dead name you.
Oh, I didn't. How does that
Oh,
feel?
sorry. Whoops.
How does it feel to be lied
No,
to?
but you did Yeah, exactly. So,
Wow.
anyways,
what a dinner.
they leave from there and then they go talk to Lot.
Okay. They leave from there and then they go talk to Lot. And then
They basically are going to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy it. They're going to talk. They're like, hey, Abraham, we're going to go talk to your nephew Lot.
who is in, he's
Still in,
owns Sodom and Gomorrah?
No,
or
he's just in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
As-
and those
as
are
like a
like the
dude.
twin cities of sin.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so they're really bad. They're like drenched in sin.
Okay.
And they go there and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna tell Lot that we're just gonna kind of take this place down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So this part, I don't know. This might be where I stopped, but I just got confused about what's gonna happen to Sodom. Like, who's taking him down? He's just gonna explode it with fire. What's the mechanism?
Yeah, from fire. I mean, this is just
It's gonna rain down sulfur gas. Was the thing?
I don't know if it was sulfur gas.
Yeah, it said in the thing that I was listening to, it was like he's using white phosphorus.
he's using missiles from.
Yeah.
I think
he's breaking the Geneva Convention.
I think these were Lockheed Martin sort of. Yeah,
probably
something of that nature.
God,
Who's the other? The R starts with an R.
Raytheon.
Raytheon. Yeah, he's using Raytheon. Whatever. To take him down. But yeah, so basically but before they say, should we tell Abraham that we're going to go do this?
Mm-hmm.
And then Abraham intercedes because they do. But then because Abraham stood before them and was like, hey, listen, before you go destroy the city, because it sucks and it's terrible. If there are just 50 good people,
this part is so funny.
Will you not destroy it? There's 50, and they're like, "All right, fine with 50." And then he goes,
"50?
How about 45? How about if there's 45?" He just keeps going lower and lower and lower.
This is where you're like, "Yeah, they are Hebrews."
Yeah, exactly. All right, give me 40.
What about 20?
Yeah, what about 20? And then he goes down all the way to 10.
Yeah,
because if there are not 10 righteous people, will you save the entire city? For 10. I don't know how many people were probably in the city. I'd imagine.
I imagine more than 10.
It was in the tens of thousands, I'd imagine.
Sure.
And he's just like, yo, 10 righteous people, please.
Yeah.
And then he goes, yeah, all right. If there's 10 sweet people in this city, I will not destroy it.
Yeah, which means that maybe 9 good people died.
Yeah, they're not.
If he's really a hair splitter of a god.
He's like, ooh, you just gotta add one more. But you just listen. I'm a man. I said 10. Isn't that 10?
It was 9 and a little person. So
yeah. Ooh, not a fool.
I don't round up.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Good on Lot or good on Abraham to at least try.
Right. He gave it his best shot.
Give it his best shot.
And he said,
just too sinful.
Right, yeah, there just wasn't. We could probably save this part for because we're nearing the time, so we could probably save the next section is chapter 19. It says God rescues Lot, and then in the first half of this chapter, it kind of paints a picture as to how bad the people were, and then there's a lot indicated here that kind of can go unnoticed as to how evil the people were. So we can dive into that more.
Okay, well, I'll try to read that one with a fine tooth.
Yeah, and also read. You've got a big ESV study, right?
Yeah.
So
I got all the notes.
Yeah, they'll have more in the notes too.
I think I can guess what they were doing in Sodom.
What is that? It's fine. It's funny how Sodom and Gomorrah, but Gomorrah really.
Yeah, nothing came out of Gomorrah.
Yeah. Gomorrah. I think they probably tried it,
Gonorrhea?
and they were just like. Just burned in that city.
Sure,
that's
there
why
you go.
Exactly.
White with white instead of a white phosphorus, more of just a white burny goo.
Yeah. Ouch.
You know what they call chlamydia, like the code words for chlamydia and gonorrhea in medicine is, and it's guacamole and clam chowder.
Ew.
Isn't that gross?
Why do they make them edible?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of fun.
Ugh.
Those people are so desensitized to that shit.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of true. It's like comics. That's probably us. This might have been the most evident episode that we're comics.
Yeah, because there was 4 jokes across the span of an hour.
Yeah, but also just I think the interweaving of
sure.
I think that's the real problem with comics is it's not just that we're desensitized, but we'll put very insensitive things next to very sensitive things.
Yeah.
And we just don't. We're like, yeah, that's okay. Like the code switching
but that's
is just
honest.
I agree.
That's how it is.
But you did laugh.
Yeah.
And so I think that's.
But you did laugh.
Great
episode title.
Oh, that's a good point.
No, but you did laugh.
No, but you did laugh. So it sounds kind of like Zach.
We did. That doesn't mean anyone else did.
Yeah, we laughed a few times.
Okay.
Come on, we had fun.
So this has been another installment of Call Him Father.
Call Him Father.
Call Him Father.
Right.
And we'll be back. I guess next week, hypothetically.
I think next week seems fair.
Okay, we hope you liked it.
Sorry about my balls.
We love you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Josh's big balls.
Sorry.